Shubham sir, everything is okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Pal ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. Shubham sir, time re jiba?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Welcome, honorable speakers, ladies and gentlemen. I, Mr. Rudranarayan Das, on behalf of the organizers, extend my heartfelt welcome to all to this international conclave of Ranjit Guru Memorial Series. It is a initiative by the Department of History and Political Science, Jawaharlal Nehru Mahavidyalaya, Kuapal, Cuttack, in a close collaboration with Center for Adivasi Research and Development Studies, Odisha. I feel happy to express that we have successfully concluded the 76th round of panel discussion soon. In today's session, I feel extremely honored to introduce our guest speakers who are none other than Mr. Satyabrata Behura, Sujoy Biswas, and Engineer Sonu Kumar Singh ji. Short theme of our international webinar is kept as Initiative Policy Dialogue 2020, COVID-19, and Life Practice Beyond Pandemic. So now I would like to invite Professor Sarath Pradhan to initiate his brief welcome address. Over to you, Professor Sarath Pradhan, the convener of this webinar and the head Department of History, Jain College, Bhopal. Professor Pradhan.
Thank you, Rudra sir, for
Yes, sir, you are audible.
inviting me for welcome address. Distinguished panelists, participants, and guests, friends from the media, good afternoon and welcome to the 76th, 77th, and 78th Ranjit Guru Memorial Series of International Webinar organized by Department of History and Political Science, Jawaharlal Nehru College, Cuttack, in association with CAR, Odisha. Amid this COVID-19 pandemic, this online conference is a step towards connecting study and thinking of our teachers and students. Elon Musk has rightly remarked, if we if you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. So that we have had some of the best academic, activists, policymakers, journalists, economists, and intellectual minds from across the globe, belonging to a wide range of academic fields and domains, sharing their valuable insight. In the last 2.5 months, we have received recognition or praise for doing good works in field of academic exposition. Only it's possible for Dr. Vikram Kesari Jena, Director CAR, Odisha. He is a significant motivator of performance. His creativity and the passion for the expansion of the knowledge horizon really made a difference in the education. Dear friend, the mass media, their influence what to think, and they tell us to think about ourselves all of the time. In 21st century, media works as a bridge between government and the society. Media have been recognized as robust power to form how to experience this world. Whether a viewer or a reader, we just close our mind and open our eyes. In this COVID-19 pandemic crisis, media making people aware about the situation, calm the junta, and encourage them to do positive action. The different kind of the media, like digital media and print media, with their impact, have been presented through the discussion on present crisis. It is my privilege to welcome Mr. Satyabrata Behura, copy editor, Samaj Leaf and news presenters in All India Radio, also an erudite scholar come orator to this international platform to contribute and enlighten the assembly on topic impact and role of mass media during COVID-19. Friends, spirituality is a foundation of all population group since the beginning recorded history. It plays an integral component of quality of life, health, and well-being, both in the general population and those affected by the illness. The relationship with the transcendent or sacred has a strong influence on a people's belief, attitudes, emotions, and behavior. Populations, communities, families, and individuals have always found solace through their religious or philosophical beliefs during time of the persistence, adversity, and widespread anxiety or despair. So in this time of COVID-19 pandemic, spiritual care forms a vital component of holistic health management. Under such a deplorable situation, I would feel like leaving space to my learned scholars come resource person, engineer Sonu Kumar Singh, Bihar State President, Human Peace Foundations, IIT Delhi, to focus elaborately on the topic spiritual aspect of a post-pandemic COVID-19 world. Friends, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar are the major makers of modern India. Gandhiji's public careers began in South Africa, and the Ambedkar in Western India. They built on the work of the 19th century and early 20th century religious and social reform. They both fought with a rare persistence and exceptional vigor to right India of oppositions from within and without. Both of them maintained the momentum in their struggle for justice and equality until the very end of their lives. Gandhi and Ambedkar afford specific goals for and pathways to the creation of a just social order in India. They differed over objective as well as method for achieving their ends. How best to remove untouchability was a major issue over which the two had fundamental difference from late 1920s onwards. It is my privilege to welcome an erudite scholars, social scientists, come resource persons, Dr. Sanjay Biswas, Assistant Professor, Department of the History, Ramjas College, University of Delhi, to focus elaborately on the topic, a reappraisal of the discourses of Gandhiji and Ambedkar on eradicating untouchability. I would also request the interested participants to listen and interact with the eminent speaker. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Pradhan, for the wonderful welcome address. Now I would like to invite Ms. Payal Agarwal for a brief guest introduction.
Thanks, Rudra sir, for giving me the honor to introduce our esteemed guest for today's lecture series. First and foremost, a very warm greetings to one and all. Our first guest speaker is a dedicated and committed person, especially towards his duty. He is Mr. Satyabrat Behura. He is a part of The Samaj, which is a mass circulated and widely read Odia daily. He is successfully channelizing his task as editor of samajlive.in, which is the online news portal of The Samaj. He is also a news presenter in All India Radio, Cuttack, India. Sir, thanks a lot for connecting with us. Sir will put his insights on impact and role of mass media during COVID-19. Our next speaker is a very young and dynamic teacher, Dr. Sujay Biswas. He is an assistant professor, Department of History, Ramjas College, University of Delhi. He holds a PhD in history from the Center for Historical Research, School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. His research work tries to locate the strength of Gandhi's approach to meeting the challenge of caste oppression in Indian society by mobilizing the community as a whole. Sir, thanks a lot for joining with us. Sir, your topic as suggested by you is a reappraisal of the discourse of Gandhi and Ambedkar on eradicating untouchability. Last but not the least, our guest speaker is Mr. Sonu Kumar Singh. He is serving as a construction manager, L&T Construction, Kolkata. Besides that, he is also the Bihar State President, Human Peace Foundation, and an alumnus of IIT Delhi. To his academic credit, he has 5 research papers and has traveled extensively to Asia, Africa, and Europe for various training programs, conferences, job assignments, and volunteer services for peace and humanity. He is a nature lover, spiritual enthusiast, and a humble admirer of humanity and peace. Sir, thanks a lot for connecting with us. Sir, your topic as suggested by you is spiritual aspects of post-pandemic COVID world. Now, I would like to make a small and humble request to our guest speakers to please conclude their talk within 30 minutes each so that we can have a healthy and open discussion forum. Now, after this brief introduction, I would like to stop here and invite Mr. Satyabrat Behura to please initiate his talk. Over to Satyabrat, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Okay, okay. Then welcome, friends. Professor Pradhan, Professor Payal ji, Professor Rudra sir, and all other participants who are joining this webinar online. Actually, I'm very much grateful and also thankful to you all that you are just doing a hard labor and you have just completed 78 numbers of webinars. It is something very much amazing as well as surprising that to collect data and give a scope to people for such type of interaction. It is also very much praiseworthy. The topic for discussion today is impact and role of mass media during COVID-19. We all know about it. In fact, you ask that any other matter such happened that like if you compare that Reha Chakrabarti ji issue in India and Bihar election and some of the major happenings and how much people are attracted to those happenings. Also, people to that level are very much related with such a type of pandemic that is COVID-19 and whatever has happened all over the world, including India. The other part of this thing is that uh, in the scenario of COVID-19, we have seen a great change, great upside down all over the world, and it has also affected the system of information, the system of informing people, disseminating information that is in a wide manner. When in the beginning time of COVID-19, some of the newspapers could not be distributed, therefore it has to stop their circulation. But mass media, basically, which we can call it digital media, it has a great impact on people, and also people have the same impact on it. So today I will quote a line that the Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi told in Bangalore Tech Summit 2020 that in the information era, fast mover does not matter. The best mover, it matters. Perhaps I think it says everything about the present scenario of media in India, also some of the countries like India. So what happened? Why we are discussing this topic nowadays? It is not much more necessary to think that we must have that a specific medium or media to know something. Now we are just everything in our fingertip to know, and everything comes to us. We are no more making any labor for that. That information will come to me. I will wait for that. It comes naturally through Facebook, Twitter, and many other mass medias are there to which you can access the information very quickly. Now it is the era, it is the time of that how you are interpreting the theory, how you are looking at the news. One thing I would like to say that in Bihar election, what happened? One of the has made a post voting call or that is calculation that who is going to get vote. The same data is being taken away by 10 media organizations. But on the very next day, the 10 media organizations has presented all those information in a different way. You may find it 10 headlines, 10 sub-headlines, 10 types of things, and even if the decision what the voter had already said, that has been changed. So I mean to say that actually how we look at the media, what actually we hope from the media. I am talking about my own experience that I have been working over 12 to 13 years in All India Radio as a news presenter, as also a newsmaker, and also in the Summers Life .in. That I find that only except some of the media houses, media organizations. All other media houses, they are just providing the second-hand information. And it is one of the challenge against the media that when you are providing second-hand or third-hand information, means you are not aware of the source. You are not at all thoughtful. You are not at all caring about what is the source, who is the source, where are the source from, and you are providing information. And for that only, we are always reaching in that point of view that informations differ. And when we try to go to the source, we don't find information. Another thing has happened in between that COVID-19. Many other media organizations, short media houses, small media houses, and individual media platforms have just shown their face. Even if people in India have crossed China in that matter, and we have just find out our all of the social media platforms that is in order to provide the COVID-19 information for that matter. I think you all of you know that what happened in between that pandemic period when people, means our brothers and sisters who are working outside the state, outside the country, how they faced the difficulty in getting back home. That over a bug's little baby has to sleep and the mother has to pull the bug. And also, we had gone through that scenario. But what happened in between that? What actually we have provided to the media? Yes, as a media person, we can say very loudly and proudly that, okay, we have done a lot of things, we have provided information. It is our primary duty, in fact. We have to provide information. But what information we had actually provided? Whatever information we have provided, is it correct? Whether the information is not actually seen by people don't know about it, we only just try to copy the information and paste on the specific media. People know about it. You can find it out that every day the government is providing how many are newly affected, what is the total number of affected, how many are dead, and the total number. Everything it is given. But if you find out all the news print, you may say digital newspaper, you may say, are you getting any comparative story where it has been written that okay, in Ganjam the number of affected was reduced earlier, but now it is again getting momentum. What is happening in Cuttack? What is happening in the remote area of Baleshwar? Or you may say it is in Mahanga or somewhere. We are not going to the remote. We are not thinking about all those problems. We are just waiting whenever the data will come and we will test it on that. Now media has reached on that point. So the question is that what media is doing and in COVID-19, in that pandemic period, whether we have done something better for the society, for the people. Okay, I don't know if any of the participants may belong to some media houses, may have journalism degree or continuing it or want to continue it. I am not, I'm just not going against the theory, but I try to present the truth for the purpose that we should be conscious of our duty, our responsibility. Our duty or responsibility is not that only we do whatever is there. We have to do something different. If you see 27th March 2020 and today is 19th November 2020, in between that, how many articles, how many stories have been published or been covered by the digital channels like TV, web TV, or something like that about the mental condition of the people, those who are not getting medicine, those who are not aware when the COVID-19 vaccine will come, those who have a very large family and even if they have not to eat properly for 3 times a day, what about their situation? Have we ever tried to study our what would be the psychological condition of that family? We have never thought about that. But whenever there comes something different and the matter which does not actually have an impact on our life, we have just given it much more priority. And finally, it has come to an end. And Reha Chakravarti is one of the warning examples that at that time when the CBI was inquiring, at that time none of the media, any of the media, they didn't give priority to COVID news, to the pandemic news. And just we were fighting between each other, among each other, that who should be declared the COVID warrior. We didn't think about that what about the dead person whose dead body is lying on the road and no one is ready to bring it to the village. So when we are thinking about the impact, we are thinking about its effect on the role of media at that time is very much important, very much of having that responsibility that you have to deal with and every moment. So when we have to find out about the fake news, about the false narrative, or every other thing that actually we have to come across, so we have to think that whatever we are presenting in the media and people are relying upon that, we have to be very much cautious and we have to find out the right way. The question, it naturally comes to our mind. Are media still able to convey a sense of unity reaching large audiences? Here, don't count the numbers. Here, the audiences are not the number. Every time we are like changing the theme, we are changing our media options. Which media I will go through, which component I will go through, because always we are searching for the finest information and the latest one. So we can't stop the audiences to be with one media. They will choose media, they will just transfer from one platform to another platform. But it is the credibility of that media house or the media personality to find out the way how to be in close with the audiences who is relying upon the media house to get perfect information. Then another question comes to mind. Do social media provide that ground where the audience can check which is actual information, which is misinformation? That is also one of the which we can call contemporary question, and still yet we are not getting any resolution for that. That how we can come across to that fake news about which the Supreme Court has recently given order to central government to form a committee and some rules to stop that. That is also another matter. And what is the flexibility of information we are providing every time to the people? Once you open the channel, the same news will come again and again frequently within each half an hour till 11, from 9 a.m. to 11. That is why we are providing information. Okay. Coming to the topic directly, what is the impact actually? Like all other sectors of the society, not only in India but all over the world, it has changed this system totally towards the digital one. There was no printing media at that time, so people have to depend upon the basically on the Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all other social media platforms to get information. The duty of the media at that time, I think most of us we know, on 27th March actually, uh, some of the countries they have the positive corona positive patients on that day, and also in the month of March, but it later presented to people in the month of May. It took media people, media houses to cover up that story, to provide that information to the audience with a gap of 1 month and 15 days, which is very much alarming. And the World Health Organization and its Secretary General, he declared that we should not create any type of misinformation. Either we can't fight against corona. Now we have to fight against the media. Media has made at the time, at some sort of time, and some of the media houses, they have made the blunder by providing the information. The impact of media on any type of thing which is like epidemic all over the world is a very important one. Also, this time, the media has covered everything. The media tried to present everything, but the media to some extent, felt in providing what the people want, what the audience want. We must share some of the examples. That after the pandemic was just spread over all over the countries of the world and also to India. At that time, you will find in Facebook, YouTube, many of the doctors, even if we don't know whether actually they are doctors or not, they come up with the video and they started giving advice that to do this, do that, corona will never come to you. So, groups of people, communities adopted that method, and later on, those methods proved to be wrong. So, it is that media has to show its own way to prove that, okay, it is correct, this one is correct, you should accept or adopt that, and you should reject the rest of it. We have seen every day, we have to provide the information. Okay, this information given in Facebook is wrong. You should not go by that. This YouTube video is fake. Don't go for that. And it took 5 to 10 days that the audio or the video that has to be removed from that site. That happened. And not only that, due to the impact of the media on that matter, that even if people who are under blind belief, those who just accept whatever you say, they go accordingly to that, even if to go to religious places and to pray for that, okay, corona will go away and it will never come to me. Like that. Also, such type of things have been done by media by making people conscious about what is the right method and what is the wrong practices they are doing that in order to get a better response that they should not be affected by corona. So the question is that when in Slovenia, one of the country, on 27th March, more than 100 numbers of people they are getting affected by corona positive. The news came on to us on 4th of April. And then when it is one of the small state of Italy, and when the doctors, the people, and all over the world, the people started reacting on it, even if World Health Organization already it has uh, um, spread to half of the country. So the thing is that we should, and accordingly, we should present the thing for that purpose. I would just like to say that in recent times when I just invited by someone for a postgraduate classes in journalism, there was perhaps 42 students, and each one of them, except two, said, "Why you are doing journalism? What is your motto actually? What you want to do?" The same answer they have. Somewhere has seen some presenter or actor having a boom in hand. Cameraman was there, and they are just covering up some of the story. They think that the total or the whole process of journalism, disseminating information or getting information is just depending upon this. And perhaps some set of people or some set of media persons, those who are with that, they have made or saved the media like that. So when we are talking about the impact of mass media, actually what mass media has done, one of World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom, he said, misinformation on the coronavirus might be the most contagious thing about it. These circumstances can lead to an increase in the people's unnecessary expectations requiring diagnostic, medication, or referral service. Also, we know that in India that has happened. People unnecessarily went to this place and that place that okay, they will have a test about our corona symptoms. And most of the time there was unrest in various COVID centers that has been established in our Gram Panchayat and many other cases. So the question here is that when we are talking about the impact of media, the media has done its work, its responsibility to the fullest extent, but due to low quality of information or whenever we have tried to the faster information at that time. To some extent, media has felt there. So, about when we are continuing with that information, so whatever we have to present at that time, that is, we have to be honest about that and we have to present the things properly. If we say about point one, in case of India, the media houses presented an effective role in with the government of India and with the state government, the with the local administrative bodies and with also the private bodies, just to make people conscious of that. If there will be no media in India, or if our media houses or the social platform was not so much popular with us, then perhaps nowadays our recovery rate is 93% something. Perhaps the death rate would be something closer to that. It is not the it is not that whatever happened the government had done. Even if nowadays people are waiting for the messages, replies, conversations in the social media that what decisions they are going to take. And people are responding to that. That is a very bigger change that has taken place. That the impact has been shown by the social media at the time of COVID-19. Second point is that a country like India, you know, numbers of languages, numbers of religions, numbers of communities are there. So it is very much difficult to make or bring all of them onto one platform and make them find out that what is COVID-19, what are its parameters, what are its symptoms, and how we can deal with that very properly. But all the media houses, all the social regarding that, it means that whenever information came to us, we have translated into our own language and we tried that our people should get it. And by the way, we have changed its norms, we have changed its word structure, we have tried to give it that rural color that people will be able to understand that fact very properly. And third thing, what media has done, if we compare the whole world, the platform of the whole world, number of times our prime minister, our chief minister has come to people through their media or on the social platform and tried to give the message to the people. Yes, we are going to do this, but still the only cure now, up to the time of the vaccine is coming ahead, that only we have to use the mask. We have to wash our hands properly. And that is why the Indian media has made the people conscious, and up to 92% of the people in India have been conscious only by following the social platform. And from that social platform, they have got every type of knowledge, every type of ideas about that. So, impact cannot be ascertained individually, neither through community or a religion. Some people are there, some audiences are there who are against such a type of media, who are ready to just vandalize the whole system, those who are always trying to provide the fake information to people. You do this and do that and come onto this platform. And even if there were people who are just spreaded the message that, okay, the government is going to give 5,000 to everyone, which the media clarified strongly that it is a fake news. Because some of the so-called media platforms, they are doing that. Not that every other media platforms are doing that. So when role of media is something fixed or it has to be changed according to the necessity, it also posed another problem, not advantage also at that time. Some of the media platforms, we actually yet to ascertain whether actually they are the social platforms verified and made for the audience to disseminate information or not. Still, it is under investigation. But they just started posting opposite news, some news which are not at all related to that COVID-19. Means one solution is given by one of the government organization or of a doctor or from a COVID center news has come, they are just opposing it. When you are questioning about that the treatment policy should be like this or that, they are questioning about what is the quality of launch and dinner you are providing in the COVID center. And the basic thing is that it is also a general question that comes to everyone's mind that what actually are we not very much independent, very much neutral in providing information? Okay, the thing is that in case of other news items, except pandemic, except COVID-19, the answer will be obviously yes. Even if I refuse as a media person, then everyone knows that we have to accept that. Now, today's media houses are mostly motivated and more influenced by the financial help of the organization. Yeah, it may be the government or it may be some of the political party or some of the organization, but it happens that there is no question that at any point of time they will confront that what actually we have to do, whether we have to only take support of that government information what is being provided by the health ministry, or else we have to go. Obviously, also you will find what happens between there is a difference between the private media and government media also. In private media, you will find they will just write down that how many are affected today, what is the percent of growth in the total positive case. But the government media, as a government media, it is a, you may say compulsion or it is the structure that we have to go with the recovery rate first. That how what is the percentage of recovery rate in India today? How many are recovered? Then we go to the number of deaths and number of newly positive cases. So this is something what happens. You have to study the mind of the people. I'm not saying that it is only related to this or related to this news item related to COVID-19 something that whenever you are making anything, because what happens, you may be protested or you may be just stopped. You know everything what is being happening in Odisha as well as all over India, taking some of the channels into concern and how you see that Mr. Arnab is arrested for some days. Okay, if you ask about why, what will be the potential method of collect data from new media? Okay, potential method of collecting data. It's a very good question. I'm just coming to that. I'm talking about that Arnab Goswami. Actually, as a journalist, I am also not. I have also protested that why he is arrested like that. But only that the journalist is arrested, an editor is arrested. But I never like the way he presents the thing. Never the journalistic ethics says you ask a question and you don't wait for the reply. And you ask a question and you start blaming like you are the chief of the opposite party in the assembly or parliament. That is not the point. And the what the one question has come that how to get new information or new media that is to collect the information. Uh, I would say it is a matter of chance that under which media houses or media platform you are working, how much freedom they are giving to you. It depends on you. Third thing is that only information, whatever you watch or whatever you try to extract from anywhere, may not be enough to make a news. It may be enough for one line or headlines, but it may not be possible to make a news. So at that time, you have to keep up with all the statistics, all the data, all the relevant information related to that. Okay, internet will help you. You can go to their specific Twitter handle, but you have to find out which one is the original Twitter handle and which is not. And also, uh, okay, and also in some of the cases, you have to meet that person, you have to make a call to that person, or you have to send a message that he should respond to you. Yes, it will take some time. But it needs actually the brand name of your media houses, and in some cases also your experience will work there. Nowadays, what happens? We most of the people, those who are we say that we are journalists and we are doing this and that, we just try to do everything within the four walls of our chamber. We are not going beyond that. We are not trying to look beyond that. So whatever that comes to us, and then we try to just get it in print out or something like that. Another major thing that what some of the honorable participant has asked that we belong to the political parties. Okay, if you don't belong to political party, I need to say two things. Politics is not at all bad. If politics is a bad thing, why then many other people Many other things are happening in politics, and you see everything. Be it COVID-19, be it Rhea Chakrabarti, be it Arnab Goswami, be it our CM's declaration, everything is politicalized, finally. And without that politics, but yes, are we really patronized by that? That patronization was there. It is not that any of the, only except one or two, all the media houses, all the media platforms, they are under the patronage of someone. But in that patronage, there was a time when the patronage has no impact often, the neutrality of the news, neutrality of the information. But nowadays, there is no neutrality. There is only news related to that patronage. Whatever Sagu will say, that will come on media. That is the basic thing that has been taken place or being given priority for that order. Another matter is that low standard of information. Okay. Information must have a standard. Don't we most of the time we try to lose our hand. Okay, only two or three informations are there, and we have to make a column. Then okay, whatever comes to your mind, you put into it. That is also one of the things. But basically the natural problem is that whenever you are a member of a private organization, private media house, there are many other compulsions. It's not very easy to tackle the problem what Sumtar had said, that is to forget about the patronage, forget about what is the inclination towards you, or how much you can, because also it is related to your financial problem and also the development of yourself. It is also another matter. So, altogether, if we find, the question mark is that media has played a very important and a very good role at the time of pandemic by providing information. But if we judge it, if we compare it with the world arena or with this development of an area of providing information, then it's my personal opinion that we are far behind in touching the level of success. So it is very much required that people should try to change it. What we should read, what we should not read. Whether we should depend upon the misinformation or information. And for that purpose, how can we can bring a successful impact? Okay, one thing I would say, who are the media? Unless people go for that. Nowadays, even if the information moves faster, one thing we have to accept, journalists are not media. Media houses are not media. It is people who are media. Because one people come to learn from the social platform, okay, आप काढ़ा पियो तो कोरोना से अच्छे हो जाओगे, और कोई नहीं पढ़ा, सब लोग जान गए. So people are now the media. Just you have to put the correct information to the people. Even if one audience comes to find out, then he can spread that knowledge to everyone, and that will be a successful one. Okay. Already I have taken much more time, and the next speaker is there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Your talk really focused on contemporary issues, and yes, sir. As you said, that media has really done an exceptional work in the COVID time, and has successfully, and I think that it has successfully justified Thomas Carlyle coining of media as the fourth pillar of democracy. But simultaneously, media should not cross its limit. When I say cross its limit, I mean that being partial or being motivated, or let's say declaring judgment of their own. Rightly, I mean, at the last point of time, you have correctly said that people are the media. People need to be the media to to find out what is correct and what is incorrect, to be their judge of their own self. Thanks a lot, sir, for explaining in a very fantastic manner. Thanks a lot again. Our next speaker is Professor Sujay Biswas. So I would like to invite Professor Sujay Biswas to please initiate his talk. Over to Biswas sir.
Good evening, everyone. Uh, I'd like to thank the Department of History and Political Science, Jawaharlal Nehru College, Cuttack, and the Center for Adivasi Research and Development, Orissa, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of the Ranjit Guru Memorial Series of international webinars. Now, today I'll be speaking on a reappraisal of the discourses of Gandhi and Ambedkar on eradicating untouchability. And to begin with, I'll say that the eradication of untouchability was one of Gandhi's central concerns. In the early 1920s, Gandhi had pushed for the removal of untouchability to the forefront at the Nagpur session of the Indian National Congress, where non-cooperation resolution was adopted. However, the inception of an enduring and autonomous anti-untouchability movement under Gandhi dates from his fast unto death, popularly known as the Epic Fast, against the communal award that was announced in 1932 by the British government and had awarded separate electorates for the untouchables. Now, the Pune Pact of 1932 resolved this crisis between caste Hindus and untouchables. And after the Pune Pact was signed, it was accompanied by a pledge by caste Hindu leaders at public conferences in Bombay on 25th and 30th September 1932 to secure for Harijans, a coin termed by Gandhiji, uh, complete political and social equality, and to work for the removal of all disabilities and hardships suffered by them. Now, the resolution, through a resolution, the meeting on 30th September 1932 established the Harijan Sevak Sangh with its headquarters at Delhi and branches in different provincial centers, even in the princely states. And this was to carry on propaganda against the observance of untouchability. Now, for the purpose, the following steps were to be immediately taken. First, all public wells, dharmshalas, roads, schools, crematoriums, and public ghats to be declared open to untouchables. And second, all public temples to be open to members of depressed classes. Now, an interim constitution for the Harijan Sevak Sangh was prepared and adopted by the Central Board of the Harijan Sevak Sangh at its meeting in Delhi on 26th October 1932, to which Gandhiji had suggested some modifications. Now, the amended constitution adopted the name Harijan Sevak Sangh and said that the object of the Harijan Sevak Sangh would be, and I quote, the eradication by truthful and non-violent means of untouchability in the Hindu society, with all its incidental evils and disabilities suffered by the so-called untouchables in all walks of life, and to secure for them absolute equality of status with the rest of the Hindus. This also happened to be the preamble of the constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. Now, Gandhi suggested that the Harijan Sevak Sangh should include both the caste Hindus and the untouchables. So it should not be an organization just of the Harijans or just of the caste Hindus. Both should work together. And its 15-member board in 1932 had 4 Harijans, and it was explicitly committed to fighting untouchability. Now, Ambedkar had accepted for himself a place on the central board of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, and he was looking forward to play his role in it. Now, he had written a letter on 14th November 1932 to the Harijan Sevak Sangh Secretary Amritlal Vithaldas Thakkar, outlining his views on the eradication of untouchability and requesting the secretary to consider them while chalking out a program of action. Now, it is this letter which later historians and political scientists, or you can say social scientists, have picked up to criticize Gandhi's constructive program that he suggested for the uplift of the Dalits. And in today's talk, I'll be dealing particularly with this letter, the methods or the suggestions that Ambedkar made to the Harijan Sevak Sangh, and I'll be comparing it with the constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, one that was adopted in the year 1932, and the another one, an amended one, was adopted in the year 1935. Both of them had been drafted by Gandhi. Now let's look at what is the general understanding of Gandhi's constructive program and what scholars have to say about Ambedkar's approach. Now, Gandhi's constructive program, it is stated, was non-radical because it sought to improve the conduct of individuals, Harijan individuals, with campaigns also involving upper caste Hindus to work in Dalit slums and promote cleanliness, abstinence from alcohol and meat eating, and other Brahminic virtues. On the other hand, Ambedkar is said to have placed more faith in constitutional process, in changes in the law, emphasized the creation of jobs for untouchables, and was animated by the drive to achieve a position of social equality and human dignity for his fellows, for the untouchables. Now, if one looks at the letter that Ambedkar wrote to the secretary of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, proposing a program of action that the Harijan Sevak Sangh should undertake for the welfare of the Harijans, and the Harijan Sevak Sangh constitution drafted by Gandhi himself. Now, these two documents demonstrate that the programs of the two leaders actually show similarity in the intent and content of their welfare programs towards the ultimate uplift of Harijans in India. I'll take up first. I'll give a brief outline of uh, the approach that Gandhi had written down in this constitution. Now, to begin with, Gandhi, he was a leader and a strategist of mass struggles against all kinds of oppression. So he realized that Harijans, who were subjected to social, economic, and political oppression and suppression for centuries, could seldom be mobilized in militant struggles. Their very oppressed condition acted as a barrier. For them to rise up in struggle, a prolonged period of preparation was needed. And Gandhiji set out to prepare the Harijans for such a struggle by carrying on constructive work among them. Now, outlining the programs of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, foremost among the functions was to reach out to caste Hindus through propaganda work, to educate them to favor the complete removal of all forms of untouchability. Gandhiji very well knew that it were the caste Hindus who were practicing untouchability, so they had to be educated about the injustice that was being meted out to the untouchables. Now, the purpose was to involve the caste Hindus to support the newly formed organization, that is the Harijan Sevak Sangh, and make it the nucleus for mobilizing Hindu community as a whole, including the Harijans. Now, this is one major difference. There's one major difference that in Gandhi's approach from Ambedkar's. While Ambedkar would mobilize the Harijans to fight for equal rights and privileges, Gandhi would mobilize both the caste Hindus and the Harijans to eradicate untouchability. I'll come to this later in my talk in some more detail. Now, simultaneously, the Harijan Sevak Sangh was required to carry out constructive work to enable the uplift of Harijans economically, socially, hygienically, and educationally. Now, this was to be achieved by making efforts to encourage Harijan children and adults wherever possible to attend schools. The emphasis was always on joint enrollment along with caste Hindus. So these schools that were being set up newly, or schools, they were not only meant for Harijans, so that children of these two segments of Hindu community could study together. Similarly, efforts were made to open all hostels for Harijan students. Scholarships, books, and clothes were other amenities meant to be forwarded to them, along with technical and vocational training. Significantly, there was no reference to hereditary occupations in Gandhi's constructive program. So this has been one of the major criticisms made against Gandhi, that his idealization of the Varnashrama Dharma made him adopt non-radical programs. But if one looks at the constructive program outlined in the constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, there are no references to hereditary programs, meaning thereby that the occupations of the four Varnas should remain constant. Now, the Harijan Sevak Sangh was to induce municipalities and local bodies to provide clean and cheap housing and quarters, the provision of fresh water supply, and clean clothes to Harijans. In addition, efforts to make all public wells, taps, and any source of water supply available to Harijans were also to be made. Now, most revolutionary of all the Harijan Sevak Sangh responsibilities, however, was to make efforts to secure the opening of all temples to Harijans. By 1932, Ambedkar had given up his uh, struggle for temple entry for Harijans. He believed that temple entry would not achieve equality of status. Now, this was a brief outline of some of the main programs of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. Now, I'll take up the different aspects of the letter that Ambedkar had written to the secretary of the Harijan Sevak Sangh and analyze each of these aspects. Now, in the letter that Ambedkar wrote to A.V. Thakkar, he criticized Gandhi's social reform and methods of Harijan uplift as a non-radical initiative, as it sought to mold the conduct of an individual from the depressed classes through such programs as temperance, gymnasium, cooperation, libraries, schools, etc., which are calculated to make the individual a better and virtuous individual. So Ambedkar thought that the programs that the Harijan Sevak Sangh was adopting was mainly to uplift individual Harijans, not the community as a whole. And this was because one of the Ambedkarite scholars, R. Srivatsan, writes, for Gandhi, viciousness or selffulness is a matter of past incarnations of the individual. His present suffering is due to his past sins. In other words, the untouchable is born an untouchable because of his karma, because of the sins he had committed in his previous lives. Now, such assessments appear to be based on a flawed understanding of Gandhi's views and methods of uplift. Now, the first step for caste Hindus, Gandhi always insisted upon was to receive untouchables as they were. He asserted that the cleanliness of untouchables has very little part in the removal of untouchability. It was not that the untouchables should give up their unclean habits, then only would the caste Hindus accept them. So this was not a part of the program. But it has been made out to be by later scholars. On the contrary, Gandhi repeatedly asserted that the disabilities that Harijans are laboring under were imposed upon them by caste Hindus. So he repeatedly said that the condition of the Harijans were because of the practice of untouchability by the caste Hindus. Now, such Gandhian beliefs negated the perception that an untouchable was an outcast only as a result of his or her own karma in the past life. So, what was the method that Ambedkar suggested that would help uplift the Harijans as a whole? Now, he advised that the pursuit of the Harijan Sevak Sangh should be to secure civic rights, such as taking water from village wells, entry in village schools, admission to village chowdi, use of public transport, and this would bring about the necessary social revolution in Hindu society, without which it will never be possible for untouchables to get equal social status. Now, the essence of such suggestions met with Gandhi's assertions of seeking equal civic rights for the Harijans. The program of the Harijan Sevak Sangh that I mentioned, that I outlined at the beginning of my talk. Now, this was the next step in Ambedkar's vision that the Harijan Sevak Sangh was that the Harijan Sevak Sangh should struggle to bring about an equality of opportunity for untouchables. In other words, due to notions of purity and pollution, the caste Hindus would not buy vegetables, milk, eggs, and would not also employ them in their homes or in their shops. So Ambedkar in particular wanted private firms and companies owned by caste Hindus to extend their patronage to untouchables by employing them according to their capacities. Now, again, if you see, Ambedkar in this sense resonated with Gandhi's vision to include caste Hindus in the activities of Harijan Sevak Sangh towards eradicating untouchability. Now, the next point is about intercaste dining and marriages. Though Ambedkar does not mention about intercaste dining and marriages in this letter, some of the later Ambedkarite scholars criticized Gandhi for not having proposed intercaste dining or marriages. Now, these scholars, some of these scholars are R. Srivatsan and Christoph Jaffelet. They suggest that in Ambedkar's assessment, the Harijan Sevak Sangh should campaign for the promotion of intercaste marriages and dining between caste Hindus and untouchables. But whenever Gandhi spoke of eradicating untouchability, writes another Ambedkarite scholar, G. Aloysius, he qualified his statement by adding that he did not mean interdining, thereby arresting the process of the mixing up of all castes. And this was because why Gandhi did not support intercaste dining and marriages? Because Gandhi, as a supporter of an idealized version of Varnashrama Dharma, and was quite aware that many members of the Congress were supporters of much sharper divisions of caste exclusiveness, wanted its focus to be limited to issues of untouchability. Now, in the letter, as I mentioned, Ambedkar did not suggest intercaste dining and marriages. Instead, Ambedkar suggested the admission of depressed classes to the houses of caste Hindus as guests or servants in order to dissolve the nausea that untouchables, that touchables feel towards untouchables. Now, even Dhananjay Keer, who is Ambedkar's biographer, puts it, Ambedkar expressed his opinion that the Harijan Sevak Sangh activities should be mainly directed to the economic, educational, and social improvement of depressed classes rather than to the problems of temple entry and interdining. Even in his later work, The Annihilation of Caste, Ambedkar does not regard intercaste marriages as a way to achieve equality. Now, let's look at Gandhi's position on this. Gandhi was clear that interdining was not a part of the movement against untouchability. He also did, the constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh did not contain any references to intercaste dining or marriages. However, when mixed dinner parties with Harijans took place, Gandhi welcomed them as a healthy sign. If we look at Gandhi's practices itself, Gandhi would invariably eat with people of different faiths and castes, including untouchables. He also supported intercaste marriages in his own family. Not only did Gandhi allow his son Ramdas to marry someone who was from a different subcaste, he also allowed his other son Devdas to marry a girl from another Varna. The girl was the daughter of C. Raja Gopalachari, who happened to be a Brahmin. He also married off his adopted daughter Lakshmi, an untouchable, to a Brahmin boy in 1933. Now, contrary to arguments of critics of Gandhi that his idealization of Varnashrama Dharma led to non-radical programs being adopted by the Harijan Sevak Sangh, Gandhi had declared as early as November 1927 that he did not care if Varna went to the dogs in the removal of untouchability. In fact, in the same year, Gandhi had rejected such a possibility when he said, and I quote, I have gone nowhere to defend Varna Dharma. I am the author of a Congress resolution for propagation of Khadi, establishment of Hindu-Muslim unity, and the removal of untouchability, the three pillars of Swaraj. But I have never placed untouchability, establishment of Varnashram Dharma as the fourth pillar. You cannot therefore accuse me of placing a wrong emphasis on Varnashrama Dharma. Also, none of Gandhi's ashrams were built on the principle of Varnashrama Dharma, and none of the caste restrictions were observed in his ashrams. So, the accusations made by later Ambedkar scholars that it was because of Gandhi's idealization of Varnashrama Dharma that he did not promote intercaste dining and marriages, that doesn't hold up to the facts. And the next point, Ambedkar believed that if the Harijan Sevak Sangh activists had to fight alongside the depressed classes, they would have to be people who loved the depressed classes and were not fighting mainly for financial consideration. Now, Ambedkar believed that such activists were best to be found only among the depressed classes themselves. The point that I mentioned at the beginning of my talk, that Ambedkar's approach is that the depressed classes should work among the depressed classes to mobilize them against the caste Hindus. Gandhi also strongly disapproved of paid propagandists and hirelings for the removal of untouchability. Now, in this respect, however, Gandhi's strategy differed from Ambedkar's approach in one important aspect. Now, Ambedkar's strategy was that he worked for self-regeneration and struggle on their own by untouchables. He would educate untouchables, mobilize them politically, and enable them to confront caste Hindus to fight for equal rights and privileges. However, in concrete reality, it is one thing for untouchables to organize and mobilize against caste discrimination and caste oppression, or even the caste system itself, and another to treat as enemies the entire non-untouchable population. So this type of activism, what it does, it inevitably pitches untouchables into an unequal social and political struggle, putting 15% untouchables against nearly 70% caste Hindus. So if you see in the social structure, it's not only the untouchables who face oppression, the lower caste, the Shudras also, uh, who they also face oppression. So what was Gandhi's strategy in this? Now, significantly, Gandhi, even while advocating self-regeneration by Harijans, advocated cooperation between them and caste Hindus. He emphasized the task of persuading and pressurizing caste Hindus to give up untouchability in all its forms, including the ban on intercaste dining and marriages, and promoted constructive work among Harijans for their social, cultural, and economic uplift. Now, Gandhi believed that any anti-caste struggle must be based on the cooperation of the mass of caste Hindus, the overwhelming majority of Hindus in the country. Now, no social change could occur by confronting and spreading hostility and hatred against the majority. Gandhi also believed that any hostile confrontation with caste Hindus would only harm Harijans, for they constituted a minority and the fight would be an unequal one. Now, this is where Gandhi's political and mobilization strategies are far superior to Ambedkar's approach, for it advocates the unity of Harijans with the vast majority of non-Harijans in the country who are against or at least can be persuaded to oppose the caste system. Now, therefore, the political consequences of numerical inferiority of Harijans and therefore their political isolation are overcome. Now, Ambedkar, the last point, after writing this letter to the secretary of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, Ambedkar is critical of the Harijan Sevak Sangh as it left no scope for drawing members from untouchable community. He goes on to say it had become the Harijan Sevak Sangh policy to exclude untouchables from the management and higher direction of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. Now, the records do not substantiate such an assessment. Rule 24 of the Harijan Sevak Sangh Constitution of 1935 laid down that, and I quote, every board or committee shall have as many Harijan members as it is possible to secure consistently with its maximum. So there is a particular rule who says that the Harijan Sevak Sangh should have members from the Harijan community. And this would give Harijans a direct voice in its management. Now, Gandhi went ahead and proposed another method to broaden the base of the Harijan Sevak Sangh. He suggested the formation of compact, small representative advisory committees of Harijans. This would be apart from the Harijan Sevak Sangh, outside the Harijan Sevak Sangh, and they would frame rules for the conduct of their proceedings and formulate their expectations of caste Hindus. Now, Gandhi believed, and this is important, that caste Hindus, and I quote, will never be able to discharge their debt except with the cooperation of Harijans. Gandhi also warned that there should be no repetition of the old method where the reformer claimed to know more of the requirements of his victims than the victims themselves. Now, he therefore wanted that workers of the Harijan Sevak Sangh should ascertain from representatives of Harijans themselves what their first need is and how they would like it to be satisfied. Now, the advisory committees, Gandhi said, were to help the cause by making useful suggestions to the Harijan Sevak Sangh. Now, thus only will they, emphasized Gandhi, acquire the power of asserting themselves. So, the condition of the Dalits, even today in the country, is so bad that they are afraid or they're scared even to speak up. So Gandhi was preparing them for such a position that they would eventually speak up for themselves. And these are the small first steps. And in fact, from the 1920s onwards, the constructive program that is later on outlined in the Constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh had been a part of the Congress. So, but as an autonomous movement, it started only in the year 1932. Now, to conclude, I'll like to say a few things. Now, if you see from the analysis that I made of the letter and Gandhi's the Constitution of the Harijan Sevak Sangh, we see that Gandhi's constructive program for the welfare of Harijans was similar in intent and content of Ambedkar's program. The basic themes in both the programs were: first, struggles for civil rights, that is, access to water, schools, admission in village squares, and public conveyances; two, campaigns for equality of economic opportunity by opening up employment; three, programs of social intercourse in which caste Hindus would accept Harijans into their homes; and four, caste Hindus were to work along with Harijans to eradicate untouchability. Now, both Gandhi and Ambedkar fought for a common cause: to eradicate untouchability. Despite having differences of opinion and approach, their mutual respect for each other have been overshadowed by their partisan inheritors and current politics. Rather than embracing and appreciating their ability to negotiate despite having differences, there is a standardized positioning of Gandhi and Ambedkar as each other's enemies. As a result, what has happened? Our movements for social transformation have become weak and localized, and ideologically fragmented or stagnant. We need to get out of this situation and attempt to move forward by building bridges between the two rich discourses of our times, that is, Gandhi's and Ambedkar's emancipatory discourses. Thank you for listening to it.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your excellent deliberation. Uh, Gandhi is not simply a figure of his own time, but of course for all times to come. And he's no doubt a visionary. We need to have more research on that. And yes, sir, your research on this particular topic, the tussle between Ambedkar and Gandhi, has shown a new aspect. So thanks a lot for this deliberation. Thanks a lot again. Now I'd like to, yes sir, now I'd like to invite Mr. Sonu Kumar Singh to please initiate his talk. Over to Mr. Singh.
Uh, well, good evening, everyone. Can I please get 2 moments to get ready?
Yes, yes, sure, sir.
Thank you.
In the meanwhile, can I answer some questions that have been posted on the
Yes,
chat box?
Yeah, definitely, sir.
yes, yes, sir.
So this first question is by Shivam Das: how Gandhi made Ambedkar a villain in his fight to be the real representative of Dalits? That's the general understanding that Gandhi made a villain out of Ambedkar to be the real representative. There have been numerous times Gandhi had said that even though, and this incident that is it took place around the roundtable conferences and the Pune Pact. Gandhi, I think that Gandhi did not make Ambedkar a villain. The fight was on separate electorates, and Ambedkar thought it's only via separate electorates that the real representatives of Dalits would be elected. But if you see the Pune Pact, there were two stages of elections. The first is the primary stage of election where only Dalit voters would elect four Dalit candidates. So within the Pune Pact, the system of separate electorates was inbuilt. And if you see some of the speeches that Ambedkar made at after the signing of the Pune Pact, he actually praises Gandhi and says that there was so much common between him and Gandhi. Another thing that I came to know that there among the Dalits themselves, there was a division in 1932. There was one group of Dalits who were for reserved seats in joint electorates, and Ambedkar the other group in which Ambedkar was a part, which was for separate electorates. And my understanding that it was this division in between among the Dalits that had uh, made Ambedkar consider reserved seats in joint electorates. Now, after 74 years of Gandhi's ideology and development of how is it? How much is materializing? Okay, the second question: after 74 years, there was a recent publication um, in 2019, and in that it's an EPW publication, and in that it's like the practice of untouchability is still very much vibrant in the Indian society. So what has worked after independence? Gandhi suggested, apart even Ambedkar, the reservations that we have for the SCs and STs, it was a temporary measure. It was for 20 years, but it has been continued uh, uh, till today. The thing that did not work after independence was the constructive work that Gandhi proposed. Had the constructive work, like it's a speculation, had the constructive program that Gandhi proposed had worked, there may have been much improvement in the condition of the Dalits. So in terms of metallization, a recent study shows the practice of untouchability is still thriving after 74 years of Gandhi's uh, ideology. The Brahminical order is one of the most significant. Now, the Brahminical order, Gandhi, if you see his criticism of caste untouchability and Varnashrama Dharma, I have written about it. Gandhi never said that we uplift the Dalits and make them the process, as we know, Sanskritization, that we uplift the Dalits to the level of Brahmins. What Gandhi always proposed is that the caste Hindus should come down from their high pedestals and become Harijans themselves. So, and so that would be my response to rituals. Bikram sir.
Thank you, Professor Sujay Biswasji. Now I would like to invite Mr. Sonu Kumar Singh to initiate his talk.
Thank you.
Over to you. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Vikram sir, for this great
Sir, your voice is
opportunity,
breaking.
and welcome everyone. This is
Thank you. Thank
Acha. Is it audible now?
you. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thanks everyone. So basically, the deep apology to everyone that I got a bit delayed today. Actually, right now I'm working in a construction site as a construction manager after my at the moment. So the work finishing took some time. Well, great thanks and appreciation to the Jawaharlal Nehru University, Cuttack, Odisha, and the entire department there. My good old friend and a nice professor, Dr. Vikram Jena sir, whom had collaborated with me for some work at IIT Delhi when I was doing my master's there. A great thanks to him and you all that this is a great opportunity we talk on a topic which is very core and near to my heart and our Indian civilization, that is spirituality. Well, this COVID-19 pandemic has shown to the world that spirituality is not just an optional thing but a requirement. Friends, we all have seen that when in this COVID pandemic, we were not able to go outside. What did we do? We did all the office work, exercise, yoga, running, meditation, everything inside. So, well, the spirituality starts from meditation. And this COVID 19 has given a good boost. As I was reading in a very good article in CNBC, they posted कि the spiritual aspects of this COVID 19, apart from the physical and mental, can't be ignored at all. So, spiritual aspects are very must. You see, my friends, the change we have seen in the world, people being more concerned about cleanliness, use of water in the restaurants, and all the Western toilets where they didn't used to have used it earlier. Now they are changing the paradigm. So the Indian culture and the people are getting more concerned about the practices which we have, even the pose of namaste, which we do when we greet someone, which has been practiced by us from thousands of years. Now, when an American or English person meets, they are practicing this. So, a lot of things. Similarly, the social distancing, success of all Indians and the government here in controlling the COVID 19 pandemic has been a very fantastic thing. Like, if you see the percentage of population hit by corona here and the percentage of death we have, fatality we have, is far, far less. I think 100 times lesser than many severe countries who are very developed, like the France, US, and all other many global giants who are very high in technology sense. So we see that Indian people who are rooted actually in the spirituality have shown that if you are spiritual, you will not get tired by heart, by insight. And that gives an inspiration to us for and a motivation, a purpose to live the life. So people here who can be said to be more spiritual have sustained the COVID pandemic far, far better than the other world. Similarly, in the sense you can see as our people here have experienced, well, session back when a very good professor, media person, sir, was saying that politicians can't be blamed as bad. Politics is nothing called bad. Even I say that politics is the foremost thing in a society, in a world paradigm, not only today, but thousands of years back as well. The same thing was there. Because if you see the great rulers, great leaders, our Indian great kings, be it Rama, be it Krishna, be it King Vikramaditya, be the King Bharat, by whose name the world is knowing this nation as Bharat. They were all politicians and spiritual people. So how can we neglect the role of spirituality in politics as well. Well, my friends, if you see the life of Gandhi, which our professor was right now talking about, even he was spiritual. And right now, also in politics, the people who are succeeding, they have a political career with the stigma of spirituality in them, be it our Prime Minister Modi or UP government Chief Minister Yogi ji. Everyone has, I can't say they are the ideal case, but they have spirituality in them, in a corner of their heart. So why? But still, we are not able to see the development or the uh, things which should happen. The all expected things which we expect of a great ruler, of a great politician, are not happening. We can say a reason that since they are not fully spiritual, they can be said they are having many qualities of spirituality, but not total. If you have any questions, you can always put in the comment box. I would like to say about other spiritual aspects of this COVID world. My friends, well, this has given a good old message also to us that the knowledge of Indian sages, rishis, maharshis are valued. We are getting a knowledge to know the inner self, to know the life, to know the nature and its creator, the nature creator, the Almighty, who can and has the capacity to take the lives, who as creates us, can destroy us within a second. So people are becoming more concerned now. Well, life is not all about money. It has been taught by us, by the people there, because even if we have crores of money and we are not able to go outside, we have very less scope to spend them. So life is not all about the earning money. It can end anytime. So let's be ethical. Let's understand the nature, its creator, the Almighty, and perform according to the laws of nature, the natural flow which the God expects from us can be very much understood from this post pandemic, this COVID world now. So I would like to say there are a lot of positives which this spirituality can offer to us after this COVID. And as the coin has two sides, we have some very basic social and developmental issues as well. Well, first thing is the economy, which has always downgraded after this COVID 19. Second thing is the development of our society. Our children, they are right now, since earlier also in the growing Western culture in India, they were basically in the big cities, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad. People were not able to send their children outside. And this corona has even more restrained them for doing that. So what is the reason, my friend? If such things try to
Sir, your voice is breaking frequently.
So, sorry.
I hope there is some internet issue from the sides of engineer Sonu Kumar Singh. So I'd like to request Ms. Payal Agarwal to continue the session. Hello, Payal ma'am. Hello, Sonu ji,
I
can
will
you
be
hear me?
requesting Mr. Sonu sir to please unmute his mic if he is present with us.
No, Payal ma'am, he's not audible. I hope there is some major internet issues from their side. Hello, requesting Mr. Satyabrata Behura to answer the question of Dr. Vikram Jana.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Continue.
Ah,
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Vikram
Continue.
sir.
Yes.
Hello, Vikram sir. Actually, Vikram sir has the question that uh, just a minute. Media never become fourth or fifth pillar. No statement written in constitution. Media is simple profit making organization. organization, what media is doing 100% correct as an organization of business world and ethics consider. But why people realize the depends
Uh,
upon media.
Sonu sir, please unmute your mic. It has been muted.
Satya sir, you can continue, please.
Okay, whenever Sonu sir is active, then just mute me. Okay,
Definitely.
so the sir has asked the question, but why people realize your depends upon media in 21st century particular the views. Actually, Vikram sir, this is a debatable question. That why people will depend upon media in this 21st century when everything is just moving speedily. You may say it is the internet, it is sharing of information, it is the techniques, it is the technicalities, everything. Why? The thing is that what I feel that before some years that sharing of information was only a one-way method. If I come to the pattern of communication or part of communication that what we are teaching the students, that whenever communication is only one way, then it is no more communication. And sharing of information, it may be through any media or any platform, that it should be interactive. And nowadays, but you will sir find that whatever the platforms of mass media, that may be Facebook, YouTube, and also many other things, more number of interactive programs have been introduced. And every time, even if the same information is being given repeatedly, still people depend that which media is providing information accurately, whether the information is according to their choice or not, whether any other latest information or data has been added to that or not, and whether he can play any role in making the information more furnished than before. I think it's my personal opinion, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Satyabrat Behura, for the wonderful answer. Hello, Sonu sir, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, Rudra Narayan, so I can hear.
Sir, please start.
Uh-huh. So, sir, shall I start from the beginning or just from the time? If you can give me a clue where you were not able to hear.
Yes, sir. Please try to conclude in 10 to 15 minutes. We have time concern.
I'll just conclude in 3 to 4 minutes. Um, so, friends, as I had elaborated, I don't know how much you could hear. You can always put the questions in the comment section. I can read that until I do disconnect, because after disconnecting, the questions will be turned off. I will request them, Vikram sir, to put it forward to me on WhatsApp. So I just see it that the changes in our system, we have become more concerned to cleanliness. We have become more concerned to our Indian practices, which we used to follow in good old days. The practice of namaste, the practice of cleaning using water for cleanliness, even in restaurants, instead of the tissue paper. Many practices have started. Well, thanks. I have got a question. I'll answer it after concluding. So people are becoming more concerned towards basic elements, and they have realized the value of this time and the potential which this nature has and its creator, the Almighty, has. It has given us the life. It can destroy it as well on His wish anytime. So I will just conclude in 2 minutes. Well, the spiritual aspects of this post-COVID world can't be neglected. As we have seen, our own lifestyle has improved. One demerit I have said about the lifestyle of the development of our future generation, as they are becoming more compact in the house cage. They are not able to go out. The parents are restricting them, so they are not able to get the benefits which they should have of the world, the development in their social terms, which they should have, the development of the practice of moderation, understanding others, and developing, which they will be lacking. These are some of the limits which this has given. But spirituality and its value has been established by this corona. People have become concerned about the nature, and the nature knows how to heal itself. Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, sir. Uh, Despite the network issue, you have tried to connect with us. Thanks a lot again. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Shubham Das to please carry forward the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good evening to all. It's an honor for me to go for a vote of thanks for this session. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Satyabrata Behura, Dr. Sujay Biswas, and Mr. Sonu Kumar Singh for enlightening us through their insights today. I extend my hearty thanks to Dr. Vikram Kesari Jana, Director of CARD Odisha, for his friendly and hearty cooperation to organize this virtual webinar. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our Principal Professor Pallab Chakravarti for his cooperation and assistance. And now I would like to thank our convener, Professor Saroj Chandra Pradhan, Coordinator Udhanarayan Das, Co-Coordinator Ms. Payal Agarwal, for their support and guidance to organize this event. I am immensely happy to express my vote of thanks to all those participants, including teachers, professors, students, civil society members who have made this webinar such a resounding success by sparing their valuable time with us. Thank you, everyone. Thanks again. And the meeting is concluded now. Thank you all.